Hi, thank you so much for coming in today. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm doing well. Did you have any trouble finding the clinic? Some people tell me it can be a little confusing.
I had a little bit of trouble and I wasn't sure if this was the right building, but I just used my GPS and so I was able to find it.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you did find it.
Thank you.
So, before we get started talking about what brought you in today, I just want to let you know the kind of mode of therapy that we'll be working within. So, here we use cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a model of therapy that seeks out negative thought patterns that might be weighing you down or causing certain difficulties in your life. And we use a variety of techniques and strategies to kind of break out of those negative thought patterns and change them to be more beneficial to you. So we'll be looking at some of your beliefs surrounding certain instances in your life, and we'll talk through how they're affecting you. So does that sound like something that you'd be okay with?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds great.
Great, great. So let's just jump in. I want to hear just a little bit from you about what brought you into counseling.
Sure. Well, I'm here today because my parents got divorced a couple of years ago. And they had a really long divorce. It was really stressful on everybody, and now it's been about 3.5 years. And my dad is actually taking my mom back to court now, and I'm just really upset about it because he's trying to renegotiate their alimony, and it just puts a lot of stress on all of us because we have she's not sure how she's going to pay her rent, and I just kind of feel that he's not really thinking about us in all this, and he's just kind of being selfish. Um, and it's really been stressing me out.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that you're having to go through all this with your family.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So I heard in what you just said two main feelings for you. And one I think would be your dad is kind of neglecting you and dismissing your feelings in all of this. And the second one would be that you feel sort of helpless because you are unable to relieve your mom's stress.
Yes,
So would those
absolutely.
both be
There's
okay?
not really that much I can do besides be there for her, but that's not really that doesn't take it away or change it, I guess.
Okay. So let's talk about those two things in a little bit more detail, if that's okay.
Sure.
So that feeling of being neglected by your dad, what does that mean to you? How do you view yourself in relation to those feelings?
Um, I mean, I guess it just makes me feel kind of like he should really be putting us, first. We're his children, or he should really be thinking about us. And I feel like he's not really doing that at all. And I guess it hurts my feelings to think that, he's doing all this and he hasn't once apologized or, thought about how this might be affecting us in any way. And even when I've tried to like mention things about it to him, he doesn't really feel like he needs to, say anything or do anything about us. And it's just really upsetting.
So the
I feel.
conversations,
Oh,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
I just
The
feel. I guess.
conversations,
Sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I just feel, I guess, hurt by that. I feel like he should be, thinking about us more, and he's just not.
Yeah. So the conversations between you and your dad, they're not very helpful to the situation. No.
No, not at all.
Okay. So then that helplessness you feel towards relieving your mom's stress, I heard you say that all you can do is be there for her and that's not enough. So what does that mean to you? How does that make you view yourself?
um, I guess just it makes me just feel. It makes me feel small and helpless that there's, not more that I can do, and I wish that there was, but this is also something that's between the two of them. And it's not, anything that I can control. So that part is also just like, it's something I wish I could control, but I can't. Um, So yeah, it just makes me feel small, I guess, feels like just helpless and, not like there's really much that I can do, which just sucks.
Okay, yeah, so you're feeling a little bit powerless in all of this.
Yeah, very, very powerless.
So, in this mode of therapy, this cognitive behavioral therapy, there are some core beliefs that most people possess, one or a couple of them. And these beliefs drive people. And usually people have no idea that they're even doing so, that they even kind of have these beliefs ingrained within them. And these things are things that are, if they were true universally, they would be absolutely devastating to you. So, as I've been listening to you, I've heard you say some things about feeling helpless, feeling powerless, feeling neglected by your dad, and you used some should statements. You said what you should be doing, what your dad should be doing, and you said that you aren't able to do enough for your mom. So it sounds kind of like you believe that you aren't good enough for the people you love, and this might cause them to distance themselves from you or even kind of neglect you. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so in that, I want to go back. You talked about not being able to do enough for your mom, but you also said you were being there for her. So what does that look like?
Um, I mean, she'll call me and she'll talk to me about everything that's going on, and I can pretty much just be a sounding board and just listen to her, but it's not like, I'm not really making a lot of money right now, so it's not like I can just, give her money or pay her rent. That's just not something that's in my wherewithal. It's not in my control right now. And it's not like I can change anything that my dad is doing, even though I've tried to say things to him and stuff like that, it's not going to change what he's doing. He still took her to court. He's still trying to, refile the alimony. Um, I just wish there was more that I can do, but I have to know at the end of the day that there's really not, and they're the parents and I'm the child, and that's just kind of, what I have to just rationalize it like that, but it just hurts. Like I wish I could do more to help.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's understandable. But I think, you being there, you said you were someone your mom felt comfortable calling and talking to openly about these things. I think that that helps a lot more than you know. So I want to ask you, you've talked about kind of what your dad's role in this, your mom's role in this, how she is feeling. You've said you were hurt, neglected, powerless, but how is all of this affecting you? Not in relation to your parents. How is it affecting you?
I mean, it's definitely affected my schoolwork. Like when I'll find myself just, doing schoolwork and then my mind just kind of trailing off and thinking about all of this stress and, things that are going on with them. And it's definitely affected my sleep as well. I find that I'm not really falling asleep well and sometimes not staying asleep. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night. So that is it's definitely weighing on me. And I just don't want this to be the focus of my life. I recently got married. I want to, be present. I want to be in the moment. I want to be like involved in my life and do really well in school, and that's something that's important to me. And I get really frustrated, I guess, when I find myself, thinking about all this stuff that is going on, and just not something that I want just always in the back of my mind, I guess.
Yeah, so well, congratulations on getting married.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I hear that you're having a physical reaction to all of this as well as an emotional one. It's affecting your sleep patterns and your ability to perform your daily tasks.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you a scaling question. So I just want you to answer on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can elaborate on that number as little or as much as you would like. So if 1 was never and 10 was frequently, how much and how deeply would you say you've discussed this situation and how you're feeling about it with other people in your life?
Um, I guess I'd have to say probably a 6. I've definitely, discussed it a lot with my husband. Um, but that's also, something that is, it does upset me because I don't want, that to be the focus of our conversations all the time. I don't want us to constantly be having to think about my parents and my family. Like, I want us to be able to focus on us. Um, so it's something that's another reason why I came to counseling. I want to talk to someone else about it instead of just talking to him about it all the time.
Yeah. So it sounds like even in those conversations with your husband, you're kind of using those should statements to say, this is what we should be talking about, or this is what our relationship should look like.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have those things in your mind, this is what we should be talking about, what it should look like, I need to be enough in this relationship, what would like completely open, free of those thoughts, conversations look like with your husband?
I think we'd be laughing more. The conversation would definitely be lighter. Wouldn't be so emotional. Um, and I think I would just be functioning better. I would be sleeping better. I would be waking up earlier. I would be, we'd be on more of a good schedule together, which I think would really help our rhythm and everything. Um, so yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned your husband. You would consider him a support system for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, someone you can talk to about that stuff. Kind of like it sounds like you're a support system for your mom.
Yeah.
So, do you think that your husband could be kind of your sounding board the way that you are for your mom?
Oh yeah, he definitely is. Definitely.
So now I want you to imagine that you had some of those conversations that you were talking about where you weren't feeling like you should be doing a certain thing, where you were just kind of light and free and you were laughing and in a routine and there were none of those pressures and those weights in your mind. Imagine you had that conversation with your husband and with your dad. How do you think each of them would respond to you just being completely open, not holding anything back because you feel like you should?
um, well, I did try to have a conversation like that with my dad. It didn't really go well. It wasn't really well received. We kind of just ended with maybe we shouldn't talk for a little. We should take some distance. Um, because clearly we're not going to see eye to eye about the situation. And instead of just arguing all the time about it, we're just taking some time right now. Um, but as far as with my husband, I mean, I think it would definitely help our situation to just feel like we're more focused on us, not so focused on the people around me and my family and what I need to be doing for them. I'd be more focused on what I need to be doing for him and, our relationship together. And I think that would, be really beneficial for us. I think that's where I want to get to that point. So I'm not, so focused on everyone else and I'm more focused on us and we're newlyweds. I want to experience this time and not look back and think, oh, I just because of my parents that it wasn't a happy time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So whereas your dad kind of was dismissive to you, and you kind of just said, we're not going to see the eye to eye, it's best to table this and just take some time apart. You think your husband would be open to this and would be willing to have these conversations because they would make room for growth in your relationship?
Oh, he would love it. Yeah, it would be great. It would be nothing but positive, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great that you have someone like that in your life.
Yeah, he is really great.
So, what about your mom? If instead of her just calling to vent to you, you opened up to her a little bit about your feelings of kind of helplessness and powerlessness in all of this, how do you think she would react?
Um, I think she might maybe realize that it's it's my parents too, like they're my parents too, and maybe she would stop necessarily talking to me about him every single time or, most times that we talk. Um, maybe we can focus on other things that are going on in life, which I think would be really nice and would be less stressful, definitely.
Yeah. So kind of similar to your husband, she would use that conversation to inspire growth, it sounds like.
Mm, yeah.
So from what I'm hearing you say, you've sounded really positive. It sounds like your husband and your mom wouldn't walk away from you if you opened up to them. If they knew
No.
exactly how you felt and you weren't, caught up in these, I should be this for them, I should be saying this and doing this, or that I'm not helping my mom enough, I'm not doing enough. If you weren't caught up in all of that and you were sharing all of these feelings with them, they would be comforting and encouraging with you instead of creating distance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So we started talking about the situation with your father that's added a lot of stress to your life and a lot of conflict. And you told me you were feeling helpless and neglected. And we kind of identified some beliefs you have about people leaving you and you not being good enough for them, and that you kind of lean into these should statements where you feel you should be a certain way and act and talk a certain way with certain people in your life. And this belief has become a big part of your thought process and how you interact with everyone. And then we found some differences between, your dad and some other important people in your life. So now I want to ask you, do you think that those beliefs that you are leaning into, do you think that they're universally true for you?
Um, Maybe a little bit. There I go again with the, I probably shouldn't take so much stake in the fact that, there are things that are out of my control and I need to just let it go and let, life kind of happen and not take on so much of other people's weights of their problems. Um, I think that would be a really good thing to do.
Yeah, so where you are feeling so kind of neglected and dismissed by your dad, we see that you also have people in your life who won't do that to you, who want to build deeper relationships with you and work through these issues and these frustrations and these tough spots in life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so we see that not everyone is going to leave you when things get tough. Not everyone is going to say, let's create some distance.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's very
so I
true.
think we've made some pretty important progress today. So how do you feel about what we've talked about?
I definitely feel less weighed down and more positive, and you helped me to see that there are people in my life who are going to love me and support me no matter what, and I need to just kind of focus on the positivity and focus on those relationships and not always feeling like there's more I need to be doing for other people.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So this week I want you to try that, focusing on those positive relationships and maybe even trying to have some of those conversations where you're not thinking about what you should be saying. You're just being light and being in the moment. Can you do that, you think?
Yeah, I can. I think so.
Awesome. Awesome. So I can't wait to hear about it. I hope you'll come back and we'll talk some more about it next week.
Well,
So
thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for coming in.
I appreciate it. I'll see you next week.
See you then.
Okay, bye.